Hi, this is Dominic from Paphos Life, and this is a long-form country drive film which is going to take in the delights of the abandoned village of Fletra, Akourdaleia in Miliou. So we're starting on the B7 in Stroumbi, and then we're going through the abandoned village of Fletra, followed by Fletra itself and Kathikas, before heading towards Pano Akourdaleia, then taking the scenic route through Miliou, and then back up the B7 through Yulu, and we'll finish at the turning to Fletra again in a nice loop. Now we're going past the radio tyre, or site rather, at the top of Stroumbi. We just left the car park by the little supermarket that's at the top there, and we're heading down the B7 towards Paphos. If you turn left just here, that'll take you to Kathikas, which is where we're headed, but we're going to take a slightly more scenic route than that. I should stress though that you can do this in any car. You don't need a 4x4. I'm using my wife's car, and she would not appreciate it if I went off-roading in it. Now on the left here at the moment is where the motorway, when it eventually gets built, will be rejoining the B7. That will be phase one of the motorway. It rejoins the B7 here. Now, a few years ago, I monitored the motorway development quite closely, and I've done a few blogs on it and films, etc. But it all seems to have gone to a political halt at the moment, with arguing in court over who is responsible, etc. So at the moment, the main thing is the widening that they're doing on the existing B7, which you can see part of here, especially as we come down the hill. Now it is a bit interesting because this section of the B7 between here and Yulu is prone to collapse because of the amount of gypsum that's in the soil, basically. And a few times over the years that I've lived here, they've had to close at least one lane, sometimes both, just to repair it. The last repair, they effectively built a bridge under it. So it'd be interesting to see how much of this extended lane here will be affected by that, because at least they built it on the side that's not collapsing, that's what I can say. Anyway, if you look to the left, you'll see the abandoned village of Fletra, and I've got both cameras on the roof, so I'll be able to use some 360 flat footage to show you that, but you'll get a much closer look at it soon anyway. But yes, there'll be another lane going here on the right for quite a lot of the route, which will be good. Won't be as good as having a motorway, has to be said, but it should be finished before the motorway is. And people who moan about the idea of a motorway, it's not like an M3 sort of thing. It was only going to be a 1 or 2 lane each way affair anyway. It's more about limiting the access to it so that you only have like a few junctions, so that you have a quick flow into Paphos, basically. Right, we're going to be turning left here, just where that van's coming out. And the villages could really do with it, basically, because it will boost their populations. I'm just going to get rid of that can of coffee I just drank so it doesn't rattle. Yeah, basically, because a lot of the villages are technically dying because the local Cypriot population, the younger generations, are just moving to the city because they want better prospects, etc. So basically, if you improve the infrastructure and the time it takes to get to the cities from the villages, then the younger generations are more likely to want to remain in the villages because the house prices there will be a lot cheaper. That sort of thing. That's the idea, the logic around the way I support the notion anyway. Now, if you look straight ahead now, there's a very interesting gorge up there, possibly. I say possibly because somewhere near Fletra there are quite a few gorges, but they're very, very hard to find. And the last time I saw a film of somebody exploring one, they'd had to use ropes to get there, which is beyond my... Basically, if I even suggest anything involving ropes to my wife, she has a blue fit. This is fair enough. But, because someone was asking me if I knew where it was, and I don't, basically, but that would be one possible location. I've gone a bit of the way up that area, and basically I came to, it was some sort of water device, and there was a hatch I could have lifted up, but I could hear lots and lots of insects buzzing directly below it, which made it sound like there was a wasp nest there, so I didn't. But also other places where there might be gorges, you'll see on this road, because we go across some very small bridges, which if you follow them around, we're going to go on the right-hand lane here. Oh, talking about gypsum, you can see a lot of it in the rocks here, by the way, if you look to the left, all shiny and crystally, which is why, by the way, Fletra itself was abandoned. It wasn't abandoned because of interfactional fighting. I'm going to concentrate here. This is a narrow bridge. It was abandoned because of the threat of landslides and rockfalls, and that has happened. This section we're driving along now, a few years ago, was completely covered with rocks that had fallen from the left, where it was since re-cleared. Now, so yes, another place where there'll probably be a gorge is through there. And if you want to go exploring through there, good luck is all I can say. I had a go a few years ago, and I got about 6 foot before I felt I'm not bothering with that. There are ever easier gorges to explore than that. If you were desperate, go up to Killy, and there's a signpost to a gorge there, and it is absolutely a stonker. It's not, you won't. It's not like an Africa sort of gorge. It's very small, but it's beautiful. Anyway, this is the kind of road where you hope that you don't meet someone coming the other direction, but you obviously don't travel very fast either. I mean, it's wide enough for passing in most places. You can be very thankful of the crash barriers too. Now, yeah, so Fletra was abandoned, and they basically moved the village up above the cliffs and inland a bit more. But since then, I mean, this house here, someone's living in it now, it's been repopulated ever so slightly. There's still a church there which gets used occasionally, but it is a very good spot for urban exploring, and you can do urban exploring here without feeling any guilt pangs about exploring villages where people have been turfed out of their homes and things like that because of fighting. Someone parked there. Sensible place to park. And to be quite honest, this time of year is probably the best time to go urban exploring because the vegetation is all dead, so it's easier to bash your way through the various thickets that you will find blocking you. So the majority of this village is abandoned, but there are a few houses still lived in. So do bear that in mind if you do go for a wander. I think the houses on the right are all being in use. And if you go down one of the tracks on the right there, you'll eventually find the old graveyard of the church. I remember exploring that a few years ago. You have to go to our blog section on our main website to see all the... I might stick some links in the description if I remember. But these houses up here on the right, they're all abandoned, so if you do fancy getting a bit of urban exploring, park here and just explore them. That's the easiest way. Now, if you want to get to that gorge I was talking about, or a possible gorge anyway, where the wasps were, take that path track there and keep going, you'll eventually come to a shrine. If you come to the shrine, you've gone too far, basically, because just before then you would have arrived at a T-junction where you'd need to turn left. If you're on that route, you'll know exactly what point I'm talking about, because it'll be obvious. But that comment was basically for one person who was asking me, and I don't know if that'll be the correct place where that film was done anyway. But if you want to explore it, that's where you go. I think I might have even done an article on that called Fletra Countryside. I've done so many on the website. It's over 800, I think, now. Over as many years. And there's a nice, somewhat bumpy drive you can take down this path, which will take you eventually to Miliou, where we'll be going later. But I'll be sticking to the road, because that would definitely be classed as an off-road route by my wife. Bit of a dazzle on now. I'm filming this mid-morning, so the sun's not too low, middle of November. Possibly the 11th, actually, in which case, happy birthday, sis. Now, as this is a long, winding route, this part, and it's a bit of a dazzle, it's a perfect time to do the marketing, isn't it, really? So, if you like our films, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and share them far and wide. It doesn't cost you anything, and I cannot stress how much you just subscribing to that channel helps us. It really does, so please do so if you haven't done already. And if you want to help us out financially, go to our Buy Me a Coffee page at buymeacoffee.com/Paphos Life and chuck us a few coffees. And those coffees tend to go for more camera equipment, which is why you're getting both an anamorphic view and occasional 360 panoramic view in one film. That's the kind of value you get by buying us coffees. I can't say more than that, really. I just have to remember to show off the 360 bit at the moment, because that will be where the most enjoyable view is. And if you want to get something back in return, like the exciting Paphos Life 2026 calendar, then go to our Zazzle store at zazzle.co.uk/store/Paphos Life/collection. It's a bit of broken glass there, I'll try and avoid. So now we're coming into the new village of Fletra. And possibly another location for the Mystery Gorge straight ahead. There is a turning up here which you could take to get you closer to that. If you turn left just up here, basically you've got to get exploring. That's all I can say. Anyway, yes, I just did Zazzle. It's not just calendars. All the pictures that we take and stick on Facebook, they also go onto mugs, bags, t-shirts and what have you. So have a look at our Zazzle store. And speaking of Facebook, if you follow our Paphos Life Facebook page, you'll get updates whenever we publish anything on Facebook, YouTube or our main Paphos Life website. And to say hello, come and join Paphos Chat and Cyprus Chat, our Facebook groups. Because in Cyprus, Facebook is the big thing, believe it or not. Surprised us when we got here. So now we're going through the main village of Fletra, and the views, are pretty stunning up here. There's a new graveyard. Like some building work going on there too. Now this route, I'm trying to remember, I think you can find it as a bonus in our Cyprus Road Trip 2. I think it appeared towards the end of it, going up to down to Fletra. was a while since I wrote that, so I'm not sure though. But I do know that the bit from Kathikas to Miliou is part of the first Cyprus road trip ebook, in reverse basically. So you'll get an idea of what our road trips are like. Look at the view on the right again now. Because, I mean, we sold a few hundred copies of them, I guess, in total. It wasn't really a money-making scheme, which is probably a good idea, because I think for each one we get about €1. But it's nice to be able to get... Because I remember when we first holidayed in Cyprus, we were always renting a car and always exploring, but it felt really like I mean, in those days there were less roads and road signs, etc. anyway, but it was a lot more, oh my god, where are we sort of thing. So that's why I did the road trip ebooks, just to give you to hold your hand so you could go exploring without running the risk of getting stuck in the middle of nowhere. And anyway, someone had commented recently, because they'd asked me a couple of questions about how much they'd like them, so it's nice to know that they're still getting used. And I'll stick links up, because every YouTube film I do, in the description you'll find links to all of the road trip ebooks. So you just got to read the description. I know it's quite a long description, because we have all the marketing shtick and stuff in there. Right, we're going to come out here and turn right, heading towards Kathikas. But that was going from the B7 through Fletra. So yeah, the first road trip ebooks cover the central Paphos, the hinterland, if you like. Third and fourth cover the north coast from Polis all the way up to Kathikas, and the fifth one was Ionapa, Paralimni and Plataris area. Well worth checking out anyway. They're only $2.50 each from Amazon, and you'll basically get an ebook which has got about 150 pages. Most of them have got photographs on them showing you routes and several maps, and it'll basically hold your hand as you explore Cyprus. If I do more, I'm going to have more of less concentration on the actual route, because it's easier to navigate Cyprus these days. More on what you can find when you get there. So I'll say more on what's on each individual village, etc. I can do that now because I have more information in my head about such things as well. And I probably will do some more in the fullness of time. So this is the official route to Pano and Akourdaleia, and it'll eventually bring us back down to the B7. But I'm going to use it to end up in Miliou, going a rather scenic route, which again is not off-roading. It's part of my favourite part of Cyprus, this area. Very pretty, and there are all sorts of little nooks and crannies along the way with interesting features. There is actually a nature trail that goes from Pano Akourdaleia up to near Arodes, but I did go exploring it a few years back. Oh, this winery here I need to do a feature on at some point, because apparently there's a little museum in there which I need to have a look at. But yeah, so there's a nature trail that goes from Pano Akourdaleia to a little church with some caves near Arodes. And I tried exploring it a few years ago, but it was weird. It only opened, say, about 10 years ago, but it hadn't been maintained, so it had come completely overgrown, and it was impassable down at the heart of the gorge that it walked through. And by accident I found the other side of it when I was exploring the cave church. And I did try clearing the path from that side towards Pano Akourdaleia, but it just got too much in the middle. It was just because I was using secateurs, and you really needed like a chainsaw and all sorts of equipment, or one of those electric strimmers at least. But I went there a few weeks ago near the cave church, just out of curiosity, and it looked like the area had been cleared again, so I do need to explore that again. But not on Sunday or Wednesday, which is when they go hunting, so I'd imagine it's a prime area for hunters. But there are signs in this area of Paphos where there have been previous attempts at providing tourist information, because on the towards Pano Akourdaleia there's an old I think it was folk art museum or folk museum. Basically there was an old water bridge, not water bridge, what's the word I'm looking for? Water mill. And there's also an old chapel in this little spot, but the folk museum at the watermill is now a relic itself. I mean, you can find, you can climb up to this old room where there's still all the old information signs telling you about the mill, which is quite weird. But next to that is probably the best gorge in Cyprus, if only you can get to it. I've shown you drone footage of that though. But there are other nice gorges on the left here, which are impossible to reach pretty much. Unless you have caving equipment. Not caving equipment, but all the ropes and stuff that go with it. Because I did find one place where I could see, I was at the top, if you like, of this very narrow gorge, and I could see down below, about 5 meters below me, you could walk, and it must be fantastic down there, but I don't have the ropes or the inclination, as to be said, to climb down there. If I was a few years younger, I might, but there's a mobile phone mast over there. Right, we're going into the outskirts of Pano Akourdaleia now. I seem to recall there being a nice picnic spot here, but I could be wrong. It could just be someone's. It looks like a viewpoint at the very least. I don't know if there's a chair there, table. No, it doesn't look like there was. But it's a nice viewpoint anyway. But yes, I explored this area quite a lot when we first moved to Cyprus, just because it was so nice. Strange old castle here. There we go. I think somewhere over there will be the villages of Simu and Drymu in the far distance. We're at Pano Akourdaleia. Now, that nature reserve I was talking about, not nature trail, was just down here. Now, this will be a dead end, but I just want to have a quick look down here. And as I'll have thrown off all of the part-time viewers by now, the regular viewers here for the long haul won't mind me having a little bit of a nose, as long as it doesn't get into off-roading. Yep, here we are. I'll have to do a U-turn just here. Now this field here has been ploughed, but this is effectively the start of the nature trail. Dash down there, see that little sign. Now, I don't know if it's been cleared from this angle, and I'm not going to check in this film. It's a nice little walk anyway, even if it hasn't been. But I just wanted to show you where this end was, because no doubt in a future film I will be doing some more investigation down there. And the easiest way of letting you know where it is by showing you, which is what this is. Anyway, while I'm here, I'd say thank you for listening this far as well. One of the depressing stats on YouTube and Facebook films is viewer viewing drop-off rate. But I mean, if you can get it, say about 40% of the audience are still viewing it at the end, you've done really well. But the first time you learn that sort of statistic is really depressing. But the worst time was when I was doing 360 tours, but I'll talk about that in a little while, because we're in the middle of Pano Akourdaleia, and so you might as well discuss this little village. They do have a very nice craft market here. We won't be going as far as that, because I'll be turning right before we get to the area where they have that. But it's once a month, and it's well worth attending. There's also a nice coffee shop stroke cafe stroke restaurant there as well. I believe this is the one I want. Soon find out if I'm on. Then we go straight on here. Yep, so if you were doing the first road trip ebook, you'd be coming up this route, the opposite way to where I'm going. And that route, the way, is easier to find your way, basically. But another reason I'm driving this way is because the views going down this hill are amazing. Oh, watch out for the bumps. Well, lots of building work going on there on the left. Looks like they're building some sort of whole new community or holiday complex, I don't know. Pano Akourdaleia is going places though. Now this is a very narrow road, so obviously don't go herring down it. But look how good what nice condition it's in. Now one or two of these turnings on the right will take you to old churches. And they really are, I mean, chapels is a better word for them. Tiny places. Now, the countryside straight opposite us looks a bit barren, but that's because they had fires there over the last few years. I mean, it's also because it's autumn, so there'll be a lot of dead crops anyway. Down here, there's, I don't know if there still is a water feature on the right, but there used to be a picnic table there, but it tends to get overrun by wasps and hornets who would get water at that little feature there and then come and bother you. Because I did have a picture of our daughter when she was about 8 sitting on top of the table there, which is rather sweet. But I mean, it became, you couldn't have a picnic there because all the wasps would get so irritating. Because hornets here aren't really an issue, because I mean they look big and scary, but they don't really tend to scare you and sting you unless you've done something really strange. But the wasps can be little vindictive buggers. Right, there's a gorge on our right, and there's a nature trail that goes up it. I don't think if it comes up this high actually. I think it ends before it. But I mean, there's a nature trail that starts at the spa at the bottom of the hill in Miliou, which is very nice. And there's like 3 trails in one there, and it walks up the length of the gorge. But I think it stops just before that bit because of a cliff. Well, it'd be a waterfall when there's enough rain, I guess. Now I'm thinking actually, because every time I come down here, I'm going, oh, I wonder what's that way. And they never actually take that route, so I think what we should do is actually take it, see where it ends up. This one here. Now, given that I'm in my wife's car, I'm not allowed to do anything outrageous. Also, I've got to be on the lookout for overhanging branches. I have a feeling this probably just goes to a couple of villas. But if you do want to go exploring for gorges, there's another place you could start looking on the right there. And good luck on that, that's all I can say. So where are we going to end up? Got off piste now. This is not where I intended to go, so I'm going to not travel too far up here. I imagine though we're going to come across a couple of villas. There's a no hunting sign, which amazingly hasn't even been shot at. Well, I hope you like adventure. Little shrine and another potential location for exploring gorges, a little cave as well. Oh, watch out for bumps. I'd say this road's going on longer than I thought it would. Where is it going to end up? Let's go this way. I did it, stop beeping at me. Cool, it's getting quite steep. Oh, this is that old abandoned house that's up. If you're going along the B7 and look past Miliou on the top of the hill, you'll see this building here. Obviously someone was building it, but they ran out of money or something. I did an article on it a few years ago and nothing's changed there. Now, from what I remember, I can go down here and turn left and that'll bring us back into Miliou. Because you see there's some inhabited houses down here. Will please the wife. Is that where I want to turn? A sharp turn. Oh no, it's a dead end. Thank you for that sign. Always nice when you get a clear sign like that. So you're really getting a tour of the countryside around Paphos in this film. I've done another one actually, which is off-road, which I haven't got round to publishing yet. That looks like someone's driveway, so we won't go down there. That's more in the direction of Old. And if you'd like to see the Old one, which is a lot more in the thick of the countryside, then leave a comment and then I'll know that you're actually interested in it. I'm going to go, sugar. That's not what you want to see, a closed road. Can you drive down that way? I don't think I can. Oh, but he seems to think I can. Okay, let's go this way. Calimera?
Hello.
Oh, can you drive down here to the end?
Pardon me?
Does this take you down into Miliou?
This goes down to the hotel.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, because the other road is closed today.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, so there you have it. You have to go this way. Very pretty. And that was a bit of luck then. The road was closed anyway. That wanted to go. I wonder why it was closed. Anyway, there's the hotel, you can see. Bit of it. And you remember the nature trail, this is one of the routes on it. Because basically it takes you up the centre and then it splits in two. Well, there's halfway up the centre, there's one turning if you want the short route. Now obviously though, you have to make sure that your brakes work properly. Because this is a bit steep. Another potential gorge on the right. So I've missed out a bit of Miliou, I'm afraid, but that was on the left. If I hadn't done that turning I did take, you'd have seen that. But it was nice getting to see those villas. Nice and slowly. Oh, gotta watch out here for the overhang. Oh, I take that slowly. I went for a couple's day with Alex, obviously, at the spa here. Very nice it was. Big acorns on that oak tree. Lots of orange groves around here. Miliou does actually have an orange festival. Shouldn't be too far away actually, each year. Right, so that's the start of Miliou. We're going to be going right here. And the nature trail start I'd have found if I'd gone to the left slightly. But there's the spa. Now up here on the right you'll see a sign pointing to a sulphur spring, and I walked there once and it's a nice little walk. It takes you closer back to Fletra, that route. You'll also get a good experience of the reality of exploring gorges that aren't tourist destinations, i.e. it's just ram solid with bamboo and stuff. It's not easy. And anyway, so I got to the sulphur spring, it was fair enough. I took our daughter there a while later because we like going on walks together, and we'd always have a packet of crisps with us and a drink. And unfortunately, the next time we went, it had just rained. And when I went on my own, it hadn't rained for ages, and so you couldn't really smell any sulphur because there'd been no water there or something. But by God, we couldn't actually get to the end. The smell was that bad. So we didn't bother finishing that route. So basically all I'm saying is if you go up to the sulphur spring, do so, I mean there's not a great deal to see there to be honest anyway, but do so when it's been dry for a long time so it won't smell so badly. I mean, and if you drive along the B7 towards Polis from here, a little ways along you'll get to an area which you'll close your windows if they're open because it pongs of sulphur. That smells there all the time, which is probably why there's no one living there really. But now we're going to be coming back onto the B7, and from there I'm going to be driving up to, sorry, I'm just looking at things there, up to Yulu, and we'll finish at the top where we turned off, I think. Originally, there's one of the new coffee shops that Yulu seems to be attracting. So we're now on the B7 again, and if you stay on this road, it'll take you all the way to Paphos. And hopefully I've shown you a route which, I mean, you don't need a 4x4, but you do need a car that's got decent brakes. That's all I can say. But if you don't take the mystery turning I took on the way down to Miliou, then there'll be a more regular route through the village itself. And it's a lovely village, got a lovely little tavern in it. And it's well worth parking your car somewhere sensible and just going for a little wander. There's a dog there. He looked quite healthy, he was just panting and laying down in the sun. Actually, let's have a little drive through Yulu itself while we're here. I remember Yulu, my most recent memory of Yulu is this is where we came to get our COVID jabs. Was it here? There was something we had to go. The various villages had to gather up here for something or other to do with COVID. I can't remember what it was. But other than that, I mainly just drove through the B7 portion of it. But it's actually quite a big village. And I'll show you a bit more of it here, because I mean you'll have seen the B7 portion of Yulu quite a lot in films, so it's only fair to show you a bit more of the actual heart of the village itself. Toilets, that's what we like, nice big signs, nice toilets as well. I guess the Paphos Life seal of approval, as long as they're open. Oop. Are they parked? They can't be, surely. Come on. It's probably the person who parked that van there. See, it's a lovely village. You wouldn't know that much about it just by driving through the B7 portion of it. See if I can get the left-hand turn now. Another little, is that a coffee shop or what to say? There's a supermarket. I think that's where we all had to go. The place back there on the right. There's a school here as well. And I remember that when they had the Okourdaleia parade, there's the school on the left. There were marches from Yulu with banners. So yes, it's a big place. But now we're back on the B7. There's Coco's Coffee opposite us, and another coffee rooster to our left. And they used to have little bunnies. See, a lot of my observations are based around having a young daughter. Not so young anymore, but you know what I mean. So we're leaving Yulu now. There's also stuff, more of Yulu on the left of the B7. I'm not showing you any of that in this film. There's a barber's. No need for me. Oh, I'll do my window up. Been open since I chatted to that person. I hope that wind won't be too much of an issue. And what I'll do, I will finish this when we get to a turning for Fletra again, because I've waffled on for plenty now. Hope you enjoyed that though, and leave comments saying you like this kind of film, and you will have more of them. It's as simple as that. Because I know it's a quiet time of the year anyway, but I do have to base what I film on how many people watch it, for obvious reasons. But if you do watch the films that you like to the end, but also I will know, basically, put it down, which films hold your interest. Anyway, we're coming up to the Fletra turning, so I will say thank you very much for watching. Or have I gone past the Fletra turning already? No, here it is up here. That's very professional, isn't it, though? You can see what happens when you don't properly plan out your routes in advance. Anyway, as we're coming up to the Fletra turning, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next film. Cheers!